Hey guys, so today we're going to be reading the book Two Wolves. And we're going to be starting with chapter 1. So the first chapter is called Cops, and we're starting on page 1 if you'd like to follow along. "You keep running, you'll only go to jail tired," Ben Silver muttered. He hit the photo button on his battered video camera and took another picture. He reached across his forest set and moved his legs on the two small clay figures. Ben was eye level with the action, peering between trees made from cellophane and toilet rolls and other found things. He often mumbled his character's lines as he shot a movie. Later, after he'd filmed everything, he would record the voices and add them to the pictures. He jotted the line down in his brown leather notebook. "You keep running, you'll only go to jail tired." Ben took a bite from microwave jam donut. The jam was lava on his tongue, and he dropped the donut onto the plate. The floor around him was littered with clothes, shoes, a game console, 2 controllers, a bike wheel with no tire, a skateboard deck, school books, soccer boots, a jumbo-sized packet of chips, and plates from a long-forgotten afternoon snacks. Ben's favourite place. It was dark with the curtains closed, the only light coming from 2 lamps trained on the stop-motion set on his desk. Outside, his dog Golden barked like mad. Within the woods was Ben's 7th stop-motion movie. In this scene, a zombie thief named Dario Savini was running down a forest track with Detective Ben Silver, Sydney's toughest cop, in pursuit. The detective was famous in Ben's movies for vanquishing werewolves, delinquent kids, and zombies. There was a heavy knock. "Hello, police." Ben froze. He looked at his clay cop, but clay Ben just stood there on 1 foot, mid-stride, frozen. Another heavy knock on the front door. It definitely didn't sound like Olive. She was in the backyard, playing pirates on the trampoline like she did every day after school. Ben stood, walked quietly out of his bedroom, and tiptoed up the hall, heart keeping time with his footsteps. He moved through the lounge room to the front window and peered carefully from behind the dusty grey curtain. It was raining, and 2 police officers were huddled under the front awning. 1 fat, 1 skinny. Skinny was a lady. A couple of police cars were parked on the curb, with 2 more cops standing under dark blue umbrellas next to one of the cars. Ben's body surged with excitement and fear. His dream was to become a detective once he had finished high school. Ben's little sister came in through the broken sliding back door, soaking wet. "Who is it?" Olive asked. "Shh," he whispered, raising a hand to tell her to stop. But Olive kept coming. She was small, white blonde, 7 years old, one of the smartest kids Ben knew. She had already read The Hobbit by herself. For 3 weeks afterwards, she refused to speak unless people called her Gandalf. The knock again. The lady officer walked past the window. Ben tucked himself in behind the curtain. The officer disappeared around the side of the house. Olive shuffled in front of Ben. "Police," she said in a too loud voice. He played his hand over her mouth. She peeled it off. "They're coming to get you for what you did." Ben swallowed hard and moved slowly towards the door, wondering if Olive was right. Earlier, he had tied her to a chair in the bathroom and dangled a cockroach in front of her face, then dipped her toothbrush in the toilet. But it seemed like overkill for 4 police officers to be assigned to the case, even if it was a slow Tuesday at the station. Ben opened the door just enough to peek out. "Good afternoon," the policeman said. "Hello," Ben said, squeezing his bottom lip. The officer's hand rested on the butt of a gun nestled in the holster on his right hip. "Are your parents in?" Ben shook his head, still looking at the officer through a 30-centimetre gap between door and frame. Ben was pleased to see that being slightly overweight didn't stop you from getting into the force. Ben was slightly overweight himself. His nan said it was from the rotten dinners his parents fed him from the burger chain on the corner. "Can you please tell me where they are?" The murmur of a highway nearby and the low hum of the tall electrical tower in the empty block across the street filled the space between them. At work. You sure about that? We just need to have a quick word to them, the officer said, looking past Ben into the house. Mm-hmm. Have you seen them this afternoon at all? Ben shook his head. They're at work till 4:30. The officer flipped open a small notebook with the leather cover. Ray Silver Motor Wreckers, 137 Hope Street. Ben nodded. The female officer returned. No one round there, she said, posting a tight-lipped smile to Ben. Thank you for your help, she said to the man, and they turned to go. Do you want me to give them a message? Ben asked. No, we'll catch up with them, said the lady officer. They walked quickly into the rain and up the cracked concrete path, past the 3 rusted, doorless cars that sat in the long grass of the Silvers' front yard. Golden, a 3-legged, sandy-coloured Kelpie cross, was tied up to one of the decaying cars. She barked excitedly at the officers as they climbed into their vehicles. The hum of the electrical tower was swallowed by the roar of the police cars as they sped up Copper Street. Ben Silver closed the door and stood there, not knowing what to do. Sweat trickled down both sides of his forehead. Are they going to put you in jail? Olive asked. He went to the coffee table and picked up the phone, thoughts whirling. He put the phone down. He squeezed his bottom lip. What did they want? Olive asked. Did they say that dipping your sister's toothbrush in the toilet was a very bad thing to do? Ben picked up the phone again and dialed the number for the Wreckers. The phone rang and rang. He heard tyres skidding on the gravel out front. So that's the end of chapter 1. You might want to stop here so you can do your chapter summaries.